Recently on my channel, I tested the most popular projector from AliExpress, for which you have the card here. It's the Magcubic H300 for about 120 zlotys. But there, to be honest, it was quite dark and unfortunately only in 720p. And what if I told you that for around 300 zlotys, you can get from the same company a projector with full HD resolution, which is 3 times brighter and has autofocus automatically set, and in fact, in almost every respect eclipses its predecessor.
I found this model for you. I ordered it and tell you about it. It was on AliExpress, and this is the Magcubic L018, price around PLN 350-400. I grabbed it with coupons for PLN 280. Auction link is in the description and pinned comment. Interestingly, the package arrived at my place in under 48 hours from ordering, so let's see what's inside. The kit is modest again, a projector, power cable, and a remote. No, nothing else needed. It's different from HY300, but we share a feature, a base that lets us set the projector at any angle, so we can project the image onto both wall and ceiling, which I tested and which is impressive. Another big plus is the tripod mount, which lets us place the projector on the stand exactly where we want, and could prove useful for many people. Since this is a new model, there's no need for updates right away. Just connect the power cable, set up the projector, connect to Wi-Fi, and everything will work as you'd expect. Here we can watch content from YouTube, Netflix, Disney+, and hundreds of other apps, because our device has access to the Google Play Store, where we can find what we need, such as an internet browser. Moving to the image, as I mentioned earlier, the projector is 3 times brighter than HY300, which in my unit has 105 lumens. Here are 305 of them on the default setting, and if we choose a brighter mode and the Uppbeat color profile in the options, that number will rise to 370 ANSI lumens. And I know this because I tested it myself. I realize this is still far from the advertised 650 ANSI, but 370 is still not bad. Remember, the brighter it is, the harder it is to watch anything, so blackout curtains can improve viewing comfort. Size. With 2.5 meters, I got a 93-inch diagonal. It's great, especially for price. The resolution is HD and I'm really happy about it, since what we watch looks better than on lower resolutions. On the boxes you can find 4K information, but it's not about the shown image, it's about the source file. To put it simply, this projector can play a file that's in 4K, but it will obviously display it in full HD only. A big plus is the system, which has been slightly boosted and is still Android TV 11, but we have access to many options including color profiles, the ability to adjust trapezoid correction, and sharpness. Although the projector can do this itself of course, and in straightforward conditions it handles things well and doesn't need tweaking. It can sometimes misjudge something, but let's be honest, features like this in a projector costing 300 zloty are really quite a big deal. There's also a dedicated button in the home menu, where we can close the app in the background, which should allow the system to run more smoothly even with prolonged usage. An interesting option is the operating mode, which allows us to switch between standard, eco and bright modes. The projector's brightness is obvious, but above all the fan's operation. At about 1 meter away in standard mode it's around 44 dB, in bright mode around 48 dB, and in quiet mode only 40 dB under normal daily use. Especially late in the evening I recommend quiet mode, as the fan is far less audible and a darker image should not matter much when it's dark. Note that cheap projectors use Fresnel lenses, so a perfectly sharp image will only be in the central part. Not really something to worry about as you don't notice it in everyday use, but it's worth keeping in mind that the screen's edges may be a touch blurrier in practice. There are enough ports here. USB for plugging in a drive, for example. With HDMI you can connect a console and in my case an Xbox Series S, though there is noticeable latency. Single player is fine, but faster titles may feel average. An AUX socket to connect speakers. You can also pair them via Bluetooth 5.2, where latency is surprisingly low. Admittedly, built-in 5W speakers sound decent, but a mid-range Bluetooth speaker will still perform better and let us place it in front of us so that the sound won't come from behind our backs, which can improve viewing comfort. If we decide to go with built-in speakers, they also have a simple equalizer. To finish, it is worth mentioning 2 things about the remote that surprised me a lot. It is better built than HY300 and it has an air mouse feature we know from LG TVs. It lets you use the remote as a pointer, which could be handy in some apps. You can switch this feature on and off with one press on the remote, which I did not expect.
To sum up, I am shocked. This projector offers the same as 2 or 3 times more expensive models, and it's hard to fault it. And I know it could be brighter and could have Google TV instead of Android, but the truth is we're talking about gear price just over 300 zlotys, and at that price we get a lot. That projector is more than enough for dark rooms, as you could see in a few cuts I recorded before sunset. As for those after dusk, I have no doubts whatsoever. The screen looks very good. The system runs smoothly too. We can install extra apps from the Play Store, and the remote has a function like that of genuinely better TVs. I think that if you're looking for a really cheap projector that will do a lot without you needing extra devices or accessories just to work well, it's worth checking Magcubic L018, especially when it's on sale, and you'll find links to best offers in video description and pinned comment. At the end, tell us which next AliExpress gear you'd like to see on this channel, and I'll try to arrange it.